Once upon a time, in a vibrant and bustling village, there lived a wise and kind old turtle named Mr. Toby. Mr. Toby was known for his extraordinary wisdom and tales that inspired both young and old. His shell, patched with age and wisdom, was a testament to the countless stories he'd shared about the wonders of honesty and positivity. One sunny morning, the village children gathered around Mr. Toby for his daily storytelling session. Today, he decided to tell a special story about the power of honesty and positive thinking. Many years ago, in this very village, there dwelled a young rabbit named Penny, known for her quick wit and brighter than the spring sun. Despite her intelligence, Penny found herself often tangled in small fibs, thinking they would make her life easier, began Mr. Toby. One day, Penny invented a little white lie to avoid helping old Mrs. Hedgehog gather berries. To her surprise, the lie quickly grew bigger as she had to tell another story to cover the first one. Soon, Penny found herself overwhelmed, unable to keep track of her tangled web of deceit. Feeling trapped, she confided in Mr. Toby. "I wanted to make things better for myself, but now everything feels harder," she admitted with drooped ears. Mr. Toby listened carefully and nodded. "Ah, dear Penny, sometimes, when we choose dishonesty over truth, we create a maze we can't easily escape from. But there's always a way out with honesty and a positive mindset." Penny was skeptical, but she decided to try Mr. Toby's advice. The next day, she approached Mrs. Hedgehog and told her the truth about her lies. Mrs. Hedgehog smiled kindly, her eyes twinkling. "Thank you for your honesty, Penny. It's not easy, but it's the right thing to do." With a heart lighter than air, Penny realized that telling the truth cleared her conscience and made her feel hopeful and positive. From that day forward, she practiced honesty and encouraged others in the village to do the same. Penny became known as the little rabbit with a big heart and a bright spirit. And that, concluded Mr. Toby, is how honesty and positive thinking can change everything. The children clapped enthusiastically, inspired by the timeless wisdom of Mr. Toby's tale. And from that moment on, they carried the lesson of honesty like a cherished treasure, knowing that truth and positivity could brighten even the cloudiest days. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there lived an ant and a grasshopper. The ant was known for its diligence and hard work, while the grasshopper was carefree and loved spending its days singing and hopping around. It was the peak of summer, and the sun shone brightly upon the forest. The ant toiled tirelessly, carrying grain and storing it in its nest, preparing for the colder days to come. As the ant worked under the scorching sun, the grasshopper lay in the shade of a tree, strumming its instrument, enjoying the warmth of the season. One day, as the ant was hurrying back to its nest with a piece of grain, the grasshopper called out, "Why do you work so hard, my friend? Come, sit with me and enjoy the day. There is plenty of time for work later." The ant paused and replied, "I am preparing for the winter. When the cold days arrive, there will be no food to find. If I do not work now, I will surely go hungry when the winter comes." The grasshopper laughed and said, "Winter is far away, my friend. There is plenty of time for that. I prefer to bask in the sun and sing songs of the summer." Ignoring the grasshopper's words, the ant continued its work each day. The days turned into weeks, and the summer slowly slipped away. As the leaves began to change color, a chill filled the air. Winter arrived, and the forest was blanketed in snow. The grasshopper, who who had not prepared for the harsh weather, found himself without food, hungry and cold. His once cheerful songs were silenced by the biting cold, and the once vibrant forest was now desolate. With nowhere else to go, the desperate grasshopper approached the ant's cozy nest and knocked on the door. Shivering, he said, "Dear ant, I am cold and hungry. I did not prepare for the winter as you did. Could you please share some of your food with me?" The ant thought for a moment and compassionately replied, "You see now, my friend, why it is important to work hard and prepare for the future. I will share my food with you, but let this be a lesson." Grateful but humbled, the grasshopper thanked the ant and promised to work hard in the future. From that day on, he understood the value of hard work and preparation. And so, the ant and the grasshopper lived through the winter with enough provisions and warmth, bonded by friendship and a newfound understanding. The forest would once again burst into life with the arrival of spring, bringing with it new songs and hard work. Once upon a time, in a vibrant village surrounded by rolling hills and babbling brooks, lived a wise old tortoise named Tanu. Tanu was known throughout the village for his thoughtful advice and gentle demeanor. He spent his days leisurely exploring the fields and spending time with his friends, sharing his wisdom about life and happiness. Tanu's best friend was a lively and cheerful rabbit named Rena. Unlike Tanu, Rena was full of energy and loved racing around the meadows. She would often challenge her friends to races, delighting in her speed and agility. But Rena had one concern. She frequently felt restless and worried about missing out on things within the village, leading her to hurry through her days without truly appreciating them. One sunny morning, Rena visited Tanu on the edge of the stream they often frequented. She flopped down beside him, looking thoughtful. "Tanu," she began, "I feel like I'm always rushing and never have enough time. I want to be happy like you, but I can't seem to slow down. Can you help me?" Tanu smiled knowingly and replied, "Rena, my dear friend, let me tell you something about finding happiness." He closed his eyes briefly, relishing the warm sun on his shell before continuing. "Happiness is not found by racing toward the next moment. It's found by enjoying the present moment we are in." Rena tilted her head, contemplating Tanu's words. "But how do I do that?" she asked earnestly. Tanu gestured to the serene landscape before them. "Start by noticing the world around you, the colors, the sounds, the friends that share your journey. Life is full of moments worth treasuring if you take the time to see them." That day, Rena decided to follow Tanu's advice. As they meandered through the village, she consciously slowed down. She noticed the delicate fluttering of butterflies, the cheerful chatter of fellow villagers going about their day. She also noticed the sweet scent of blooming flowers that she often sped past. Over time, Rena found she was indeed happier, her days fuller and more fulfilling. She no longer felt the need to rush, discovering joy in every little thing she once overlooked. And so Rena learned that every day could be a happy day if she lived it at just the right pace.